Gohan lost an arm in the android's attack and it was the end of it.
Yes.
Dog. Oh my gosh. It was so bad.
Horrible.
It was so bad. Ruby's gone. I don't think I'll ever see him in a video game again. I played Yang too in BB Tag.
Bro, Yang was my girl.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yang was my girl too. And BB Tag, her combo was like do combo up, boom, boom, pow, combo up. I was like, yes, get him, girl. Right in that corner, wall combo. I loved it. Beautiful.
I just hated the fact that Yang actually beat Tifa in that death battle match. I mean, yeah.
Beat who?
Beat Tifa. Tifa Lockhart from
Oh,
Final Fantasy
really?
VII. Yeah. So what's that?
What was the reasoning behind that?
Apparently, her infinitely scaling and surviving a punch through a pillar from a mech.
You know what else is pretty dang strong?
What's good?
Today's podcast. Welcome to the CoreTalk.
Oh, we're here.
We're here.
Welcome to our shorts, y'all. In our pop culture, they tried to, I think, overly sexualize them, and that genuinely bothers me. So Tifa's one of the ones where it's like she has that kind of nice blend between the two, and still
Tifa
does
was
decent.
definitely revolutionary for it.
Yeah, she definitely was.
Yeah, it's like, bro.
Welcome everyone to today's podcast where we talk about all things TCG. Primarily, we talk about Battlespirits Saga today. So, one of the things that I ain't for the cat. This is tape number 4 because stuff happened. So I'm gonna just let y'all know, based on our energy, we do apologize.
Yeah.
We had technical difficulties.
Dang,
and-
I didn't think he was about to admit this.
Oh yeah. I'm very open with the audience.
You might as well be like, guys. Man, look, we're trying to give you the best quality content, but it took us a lot of time, mate, to get it right.
Now we're delayed down under with this man.
So, welcome back. Hope you didn't miss us too much. We're gonna talk about BSS.
Okay,
NC4.
so let's go ahead and get the part that I remember. Let's talk about set 4.
all right.
So let's talk about the fish. I'm gonna go ahead and get my part out the way. No.
Well, wait.
No, first, before I get to that part, we gonna dumpster dive on old boy so we can go ahead and get this.
Which
stuff out
old
the way.
boy?
Hydra.
Okay. All right. So we lost sick of the
right.
fish. Okay. All right. We'll pull them up. Editor, can you pull up on screen too, please? Like maybe right here.
And put him like upside down because like we're like turned this way.
Yeah, yo.
About it, you know.
So within set 4, we had a decent amount of cars being released that gives a lot of diversity in a sense to other colors. You have Hydra, you have Heavy Armored Tiger, you have Ira, Turtle. I said Turtle.
Twirtle. You know he's exhausted, Brian. It's take 4.
Twirtle.
A twirtle.
Gimbu, Rixa,
We're never gonna let
and
that
Tokyo.
Twirtle.
But
Twirtle.
we have a good, selection of units to go around with. But I would have to say that going from Nexus Core, very good podcast. You should definitely check them out. 45 to an hour long podcast. Very nice to listen to on your drive home from work, or if you're cooking dinner or something, or just relaxing. Definitely check them out. If I remember, I'm definitely going to put their link in the description below. So I would have to agree with them that they are 3 headline winners within the set. I would have to go with, in order, in my opinion, and I think they ordered the same way. I would have to go with Hydra. Then I have to go with Ira, and then I have to go with Tiger. And I think the reason being is because of their potency of their abilities within phases of the game, whether it's early or late, or whether it's after someone initiates an attack or offensive move, and vice versa. And I think there's a gap in between those 3 and the others. Typically sometimes there will be like a first, second, third, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place in order of level, but that feels like there's a 1, 2, 3, 2 gaps, and then everyone else.
Jesus. So it's like
Dang.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So, and I think it's just because the other skills of the other cars just aren't as potent. But just to go through them really quickly, you have Hydra, who has the potency of 4 different threats. Raid 2, swing multiple different times. He's also a double breaker, so let's put that there. The guy also has the ability to destroy cards. Even if you select on top of the raid, if you don't stop him in time, he is destroying 3 cards. And on top of the destruction ability, he also mills, which goes along with Blue's aspects. And going off of something that John was previously talking about earlier this morning, was you also have the potency of the nexuses that follow right behind Hydra.
That's correct. In this set, Hydra, as well as his cohorts of aberrations, got 2 new fantastic nexuses. 1, which on summon generates a core, and 2 is when an aberration destroys a card, mill an extra 3 cards, which all play a crucial role in sustaining Hydra.
Yeah. So right behind Hydra, you also have Ira. And with Ira, which is red, which utilizes a lot of their resources to gain advantage. So unlike Hydra, where I just talked about him in particular, he can kind of just be a standalone unit. As long as you slap any nexus behind him, his raid and milling aspect, his threat, is going to continue. With Ira, utilizing it within a red deck, of course, because he can be splashable, you have the resources of not only drawing cards, but searching for cards, and at a very decent cost. But looking at Ira himself, you have the ability to board wipe things of a single symbol. And on top of that, you're drawing cards as well. So if there's any cards that you need to fight back against set threats, he will end up drawing you those cards, especially since his ability activates when he is summoned. So it's still doing your main phase. Then on top of that, you also have the ability to, if you need to answer to someone else's Hydra, which is to nuke the board with Ira. And if you draw into a Sigmar Nova, based on what resources you have, whether you have enough cores or you have, what was the name of that spell?
Oh, Big Bang Energy.
Big Bang Energy, you just summon the Nova and deal away with the Hydra, since typically most Hydras sit at level 2. Backing out from there, you have the extremely powerful and extremely defensive Tiger, heavy armor mode. And with his ability, he can fight back against the Hydra because of his ability to fight back against blue and fight back against white itself. So getting this guy off the board is going to be extremely, extremely tough. And he's beating the thresholds for red cards to nuke off the board. Ira himself can't touch him. And because he only needs 4 cores, he can't even get touched by Nova. So this extremely potent body on the board also has an ability for when summoned and when he blocks to put cards to the bottom of the deck. That makes it extremely tough because those cards aren't temporarily removed like what white does, which is going to your hand or going to the top of the deck, which will eventually get back at some point, back onto the board or back into your hand as resources. Those are going to the bottom of the deck. And in my opinion, that is the most devastating type of removal in Battlespirits, when something goes to the bottom of the deck, because there's no shuffling, there's no searching for you to shuffle. Those things are not going to the drop zone, which where you can somewhat utilize eventually, because there are spell cards such as reanimation to go back to your drop zone and get something. And I think there's a black nexus, oh my god, purple nexus that allows you to do the same thing. But either or, I don't think there's a way for you to comfortably be able to recall those cards before the time runs out and the game's over with.
And definitely against the 2 colors that interact with the drop zone the most, which is yellow and purple, that is highly detrimental because we can't get things such as the Penton that gets unstructured returned in a hand because it gets going to the bottom of the deck. We don't get Immortal, which is from the purple side of stuff, and everybody knows, everybody and their mothers are playing Battlecores at some point or another. So if they start playing those, they go to the bottom of the deck and you can't even use them.
Yeah. So of course we could talk, all day about these guys, but definitely keep those 3 in mind. Those are to me the headliners for this set. But I think the ones that are having the most difficulty, and I feel like needs a little bit, it's either they need a little bit more help, which is probably the next set, or we just haven't just haven't figured out how to play these particular decks. And for me, for an example, even though I've just recently picked up Tokiwa, it may not be, my cup of tea. Now, granted, we have been having people who've been playing Rixa and said that Rixa's kind of at the bottom. And
I think
honestly,
Rixa is probably
agree.
the biggest loser here because of all its restrictions.
Yeah, Rixa. I feel again like when it comes to all like his abilities, I feel like they have the potential to do something. I just think they kind of mismanaged his ascension cost because of the fact that or maybe they were trying to give more love to Shadow and Nightling. This is their way why. But I feel as if they replaced maybe even Nightling and kept his ascension cost to Shadow and Undead, he'd be a meta card.
Or just send a purple card.
Maybe he'd be kind of crazy because of the fact that the previous meta cards in purple were either Serpent or Undead. Undead and Serpent was like Maduke. Undead being like Baculus. Undead being like Curse Dragon. These are all like top heavy hitters that were all Undead. If he was Shadow and Undead, he'd be going crazy in my opinion because of the fact that he'd have more synergy inside his toolkit. And if he's not out, one of these boss creatures would be. That would cause, for example, let's say you play Baculus. Then you play Dark Dragon and Nightexia. You just did a Curse Dragon. And now you can play something out for free again. You can play Bacchus out again if you want to. I don't know why you would, but you could, right? And you have those kind of combos. But because of the fact that that's not the case for him, Shadows and Nightlings have a more aggressive kind of play style to them when it comes to removal. And when it comes to like low to the ground hitting. Like for example, you have Mordred, you have Camelot Light, you have Lancelot, you have Battlecore, either recursion, low to the ground, aggression, or like core removal. And they don't have a lot of support within themselves. They don't have a lot of good top end either. I think their best top end is Dark Knight Nemesis. So they don't have a lot of top end to kind of contest with all that. Even the combo card that's supposed to come with him, let's look at his name again. False Frame. Yeah, Falso is an undead. He's an undead. He's not a Shadow or Nightling.
So he's not targetable for an ascension cost.
No. So basically, so now even combos where you could have ascend into him and then bring him right back to play him, you can't do that, right? So you now have to find this nice little blend between Shadow and Undead, or Shadow, Nightling, and Undead.
Or Nightling and Shadow.
Yeah, Nightling and Shadow, Nightling and Shadow. When Shadow and Nightlings are already kind of undersupported, underwhelming.
Yeah.
And his last ability was level 2 and 3, where when he attacks, you summon a 6 cost out of the trash and place it back out. That's great. I think it's a very beautiful ability. It makes some rainbow decks even more potent. But the problem is that, again, Nightlings and Shadows are undersupported. And with that fact, the cards that you bring out have to be impactful. I think one of the most impactful cards in my mind that's 6 costs or less are things such as, like, for example...
Dark Queen's pretty good.
Yeah, Dark Queen good. One of you is pretty good.
For one attack. It was pretty nice for the Shadow. But then she's, like, one of the few, right? And like 6 costs like outside of the color,
because you can't even loot the last card that's pretty good, which is the Ancient Castle Guardian Nocturnia.
Yeah,
which has a 1 attack and just summon a curse unit. Like I feel like to fix this card, like just put something like that on. Just
one attack. The thing is, they released another X rare along with Rixa. That works with curse.
Right.
Yeah, but she's a serpent.
She's a serpent.
She can't even.
She's a 4 cost, but she's a serpent.
Yeah, so it's like Rixa by himself in a deck takes a lot. I think he might shine best in a rainbow deck because there's a lot of impactful 6 costs unless it's outside of his color. Let's look at some from previous sets. Like you have Andromeda that has already been through 3 sets and still not seeing any death inside red. Let's look at another example. We have what's his name? Apollo Dinos. That's another one. If you could switch cards over between Apollo Dinos just to blow more cards up, it is insane. Like it is great. So like you have that's already 2 cards right there. That's 6 costs or less that see meta play. That can see meta play with him without paying the cost. But because of the fact I think his essential cost is holding him back, I think that's why it's seeing a lot of success. Because imagine making an entire deck with cards that are already deemed underwhelming in purple itself, and now you're gonna make a deck around it.
Correct. Like this ascension cost just locks him in. Like the only way to unlock him like that, in a sense, but you're losing his one summon effect is that blue nexus.
This is a good comparison. Let's look at coordinating the top 3, right? Let's look at Hydra, Nova, and Tiger.
Perfect.
Hydra. Aberration. They released support for Aberration just this set that also generates you cores and punishes you when you block an Aberration and dies. You mill cards.
And some of the nexuses that I think got revealed this set gains them a resource even when their nexuses are destroyed.
Correct. And not only that, is Great Sapphire Labyrinth can turn off our Ascension cores. Cores.
Yeah, the
Ascension
cost.
turn off the Ascension cost.
Yes,
For
literally.
that aberration to be nothing.
Yes, and fun fact, that 4 cost Nexus as blue applies to any Ascension, by the way. But the top part applies to Aberration. Again, supplying Hydra with more support.
Yeah.
Now let's look at Ira. Right now, Ira does not care what he ascends over. It's just 4 costs or greater. But if you ascend on a 6 cost or greater, you get to blow up the board. It's not locked by typing.
Right.
Now let's look at Tiger. He cares about Machine Beast or Android. Android, that's a deck on its own. It's starting to show out now. But let's look at the main part, Machine Beast. We know Machine Beasts are good. We've seen them play in the meta for 3 sets. So you know that he already has enough support around him to cater towards him.
Machine Beast.
Like, imagine if this
everything.
guy said he could only ascend off of mechs. That would be a nightmare.
You know what? You know what I'm thinking is I think they wanted to give Purple what they have because for the first 2 sets, Purple got very good generic cards. Then for set 3, it wasn't that great because of the vampire chick that came with it.
Yeah, the Guardian.
Yeah, the Guardian. But they still got the Viper,
They got the Viper. The Viper was
which works well with Maduk.
like, especially because
like,
they
even-
opened up,
Yeah,
swinging
like
on anything.
their cards or their archetype cards were so either very focused, like the Curse, or they're very generic across Purple in general. That I think they wanted to just give another just very, I'm gonna call it neutral set in set 4, just a neutral set of cards for them in set 4. Nothing that's too overwhelming, but something that just goes like, look, now y'all gotta like play, y'all gotta think in order to play this. Y'all gotta think to play this right here. Y'all want a double breaker? Well, figure out how to play this one.
Yeah.
Because there's no curse, which blows things up. There's no
That's true.
core removal or destruction. Here's a double breaker that goes wide and it's different, and it's a different archetype. Now, of course, like you were saying before, it's that Dark Knight shadow feel. It's a different archetype, different aggression, and it's in purple. So they're just trying to. I'm assuming they're just giving another archetype a different feel. That's not the curse, core destruction, and you got to figure it out.
Yeah. Actually, quick question on that.
What's up?
Does Rixa have does he require a certain cost to activate his 1/7 ability?
Yes.
6 or higher, I'm assuming?
6 or more. Correct.
6 more. Oh, yep, there it is.
It's stuff like that I feel like put him towards the bottom.
Which goes along with Tokiwa, which I think Tokiwa is just. I've been playing Tokiwa for a little bit. I don't think Tokiwa is that great into any of the meta cards or the meta decks. And when I built decks, and I advise to say everyone is to think about the most prominent, most dominant, and popular deck that's going to be played. And when you think about it that way, you look at the speed of which that deck can perform and its capabilities, and then you kind of compare. When it comes to Hydra doing everything that it does, whether it's coming before or after the Tokiwa, it's a little bit too destructive, and then Tokiwa can't keep its footing. Because in order for Tokiwa to be potent, it needs to be summoned and ascended with another 7 costs or higher.
And
Once it's rested and the Tokiwa is not successful within its pressure, the Tokiwa is gone. And now you have to re-summon a 2-piece combo with a Tokiwa and the bird if you end up having it.
And I did bring this up that there are only, including the Divine Bird Tokiwa itself, 5 cards for this bird to actually ascend over because it's Prey Bird locked.
Yep, it's Gale Phoenix, which came in the trial decks. The 2 previous Tokiwas, the Internal and the other one, and Finghong, and then Tokiwa, the new Tokiwa itself.
And Mother Bird.
And
So
Mother
would
Bird.
that be 6?
Mother Meadow. No. It's only,
It's Gale Bird,
it was only one.
Tokiwa, the new Tokiwa, Gale Bird, Finghong.
Oh, yep, so that's 6.
No. You can't do it over this Tokiwa.
No, no.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's
you're
only-
right. So
that's
it's
only
5.
five.
It's only 5.
5, guys. But yeah,
1,
so it's
2,
like
3,
it's
4, 5.
it's
yeah.
something
Yeah,
else.
it's very
something
very limited.
Limited, and you're forced to play these cards if you want to.
Yeah,
Like, you're automatically going to have a 4 in the Mother Bird. So now you're forced to play one of the other 2 for
Yeah.
consistency's sake.
For Tokiwa to be threatening, the opponent has to be placed at a 2 life deficit. But since everyone is already adjusting to the double breaking abilities even before with Fing Hong, we're definitely adjusting now that everyone keeps their life at around 3 or 4 when activating an Absolute Ice Shield. So now it kind of just stages away for that finishing game with a Tokiwa. So, and even if you say, well, what I can do is put my opponent at like 3, they activate the Absolute Ice Shield, comes back to me, then go into the new Tokiwa, rest the board, I can kind of just go in, hit him for 2, and then use a Swift unit. You definitely right, but if they're at 3, there's still a high chance based on their resource gainage, they end up having another Absolute Ice Shield. Or they end up having a Flood Stream, which takes care of, if not, almost every Swift unit you can possibly put down.
Mm-hmm. And then we have things such as Raging Tide that gets rid of 3 or less. So if your Swift unit is not a 4 cost or greater, it's kind of hard to kind of mitigate that. But they have a board wipe now, literally on your crackback, Raging Tide. And if they do successfully get rid of a decent amount, like 2 or greater, they get a core. Like it's something else.
Yes,
So it's the because we know from the original Battlespirits that there's certain matchups again with various colors that you just know going to a deficit into. Like for green, it's blue. Green has always been kind of a more combo oriented deck when it comes to like Swift units, having their nexuses and relying on their friends. But they have virtually no removal, right? And so when blue hits their deck and mills those pieces off faster they can get them, they're kind of on the back foot already. And blue also likes to get rid of a lot of their lower to the tier units, which green, as you haven't noticed, is can be very token dependent, very Swift dependent. A lot of their low to the ground kind of gets there because it's like a gap in between. You start very low, generate cores, and you get really high really fast. You know, and if they can address these two, for example, let's look at things. What is that Sea Knight from set 3? He targets the highest costing thing. And if I get the lower and higher ground do this, you have nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing in between.
Nothing.
So it's just
Because it goes from a choice to something that doesn't give you a choice.
Yeah.
And then, and God forbid I have both on the field, so I'm taking your biggest one because you're definitely not selecting it. Now I'm swinging with Hydra and you're selecting something else if you don't have an Absolute Ice Shield face down. Both are restanding and still coming in.
That's so bad. If you have like, what's his name? The Randy. If you got Randy, the Sea Knight, and Hydra on the board versus a green deck. Oh,
there's no escape.
There's no escape from that, man. That's nasty. That's nasty.
At that point, I decide who you killing with Hydra.
I'm gonna cut the grass. I'm gonna cut the top of the tree. Then I'm gonna cut the tree trunk through. It's just
like your whole foundation is going. Actually, they'll probably just rip the tree right off and then start cutting down the tree.
What if they ripped out the tree, started whacking with it? It's something else, bro. Like
it doesn't feel that great when you look at. I ain't gonna get into Genbu. Like I already think.
Well, we here now.
Like,
we going to Turtle.
Like Genbu is
Turtle.
Genbu is like
Genbu.
His skills like
It's okay. So,
his skills forgettable because I definitely forgot about the
guy. Basically, let's go back over him again. So basically, his level 1, 2, and 3 when summoned. You basically kind of hit everything for 3, minus it by 3.
Well, it's for every symbol you control.
Okay.
You select a target. So it's not as good as Exhaust Nexus.
No, and it's like so basically. I guess in this case, for playing yellow the way you should, which is basically going wide in small units, you get to target your opponent's units
and make them weaker. In a way, you make them weaker.
So let's like a little combo. I think people already thought of is like Red Queen, right? Because he is an other lander now. He's not just Fabled Beast. So now with the Red Queen, by having the appropriate nexus behind him, so you have one symbol, we have a symbol on Queen, they have 2 symbols on him. So you can target up to 4 units. And with the Red Queen, if you pay her cost by resting the nexus behind him, you can activate his ability again.
Wait, I think you have to rest a particular nexus.
Yes.
The Sanctuary card.
Topaz Sanctuary. So you rest that Topaz Sanctuary and activate his ability again. So now you -6 from at least from 4 units at least. But it takes 3 cards to do this. But you have 4 symbols if you have these 3 cards.
It takes 4 cards to do it because you have to have a send cost.
Oh, you're right.
See, I think that was the reason why it's just not that great. It's just too many working pieces for that just that one little combo.
So So I wonder if they did that because of the fact they know yellow can generate resources so fast compared to like last set. So if it's like you get hit by this, but then again, we didn't see Red Queen last set. So we don't really have a good idea how potent she really is.
Right,
You
but
know?
and I don't know about that because with all the removal and Yellow being a dinky little body, everything's going to the bottom of the deck. Everything's in the field.
Is it main phase removal you're worried about?
All phase removal, honestly.
Well, I think the reason why Red Queen, now this may be a combination of lore and card set quality wise, is because when you look at, let's look at the Guardians. The other Guardians besides Tiger was a Guardian himself.
Yeah.
But not only was he a Guardian, but he's also a Sage Beast. The green girl, forgot her name.
Oh, Plant Girl. What do you want to call
Plant Girl.
Oh,
She didn't get an upgrade, and not saying she's not as potent as she was last set, but she's manageable even more now because of was all released.
For those of you who don't know, it's Forest Guardian Alaroon.
Yeah, and then when you look at the Red Queen, she wasn't potent then. She's definitely not that potent now. And then who was the Guardian for? We all know what the Guardian for Blue is, but when you look at the Guardian for Red, Trident Dragon can still be played to a sense, but it's like, why play Trident Dragon when you can just play Ira?
You could honestly play both. Like,
because Ira...
What? I would rather play Apollo-Dinos over that.
I would play Apollo-Dinos like, because you can look at it. Like, if you play Trident Dragon, of course you're killing smaller things, 6 lower, but Ira just nukes an entire board indiscriminately.
I think the reason why you might want to play Trident Dragon, because I have seen some play in the when I'm going around the Discord. Also, you guys should definitely join the Tensei Discord as well. I think the reason why I've seen it played, and I kind of agree with it, is because if Ira's not there, he is. In Apollo-Dinos, the reason why sometimes people can play around him is because there's certain thresholds he has to meet. While he can go 6 or less. And also the fact is that if you're playing the Ancient Dragon deck, you have that Nexus. If you use Power Boost, you can start just swinging it on board. So you punish your opponent for going wide.
And I guess you're automatically already playing, anyways, the Ruby Sanctuary because, like, you're destroying cards regardless, so you want to generate that resource.
Not really. Because
the only
there's
card,
a counter code.
With the Ruby Sanctuary, only gains you a draw during your attack step. And Ira blows things up during your main step. And then when you look at the other dragons that came within the set, they blow things up when they're summoned.
Yeah.
When you look at Drought Dragon is when summoned, and you look at the other dragon, the Servant, he blows a Nexus up, which is not a creature. So the only one that will end up blowing something up offensively would end up being Nova.
Yeah, it's a lot of the set 3 cards prior. The reason why they put them together is just because of the fact that they have synergy as Ancient Dragons. And because of that new Next that came in the back, Elden Jaw. Because when you go with that, Elden Jaw, basically you play Trident Dragon for low to the ground unit. So if they decide to go wide, you play Trident Dragon and you refresh all your cores because he's pretty cheap. You gotta put 3 cores on him, and if you do that, you get the 2 cores back that you lost for every Ruby Sanctuary you have.
Can you bring up Elden's Jaw? Okay, I'll keep talking.
And then Elden's Jaw is a Nexus. It's a 4-cost Nexus. And with Elden's Jaw, if you have a BP threshold difference between you and your opponent that is 5 or greater as Ancient Dragon, you refresh it. So that means as long as you are bigger than all their creatures by 5 or greater, you keep going. Yeah. If they keep blocking, you're going to punish them. So they have to just take it to the life, which is why they designed Ira to gain that plus 10. So now if you use Power Boost, it's now plus 15. So now if they decide to block, you're going to either clear their board and then take their life, or you're just going to take their life.
Not only that, so this thing gains 1 BP for each symbol they have. So Ira would have a plus 2.
Yep, so plus 2 on top of it.
Hey, not trying to jump off the tangent and go into the lore. Hey, y'all noticed that the only Guardian that was throwing hands in the next fight was the Tiger? Yeah. Like, what was the other Guardian? What were they doing?
You know something? Yeah, Genbu said, I'm dipping out to be a general. Red Queen decided to stay home.
Yeah, but Genbu's a sage. Red Queen's a guardian. What you guarding now?
Okay. So here's what happened.
What are you guardian?
Okay. Here's what happened.
Guardian of what? Your crystal's gone.
I got you, bro. I got the explanation, bro. So in set 4, the final place that Ira fought off against Mandela was actually the realm of radiance, which is yellow. So while the Queen was fighting Mandela, fending them off, and
who was fighting?
She was there. So here's what happened.
She was.
So here's what happened, right? Mandela was coming back.
You sure she wasn't there and somebody else was fighting?
She's a queen, bro. Maybe she orders people around. I don't know. But she was there, bro.
Oh, my God.
So Mandela was coming back from fighting in purple to Radiance, but they conquered that on the way there and to come back. So of course the Queen's going to put up resistance, like, hey, you can't just keep conquering my people here. But of course, there's a bunch of goddamn penguins here. There are scientists. All they do is study the lab. By the way, it's their fault the star have Radiance happens. Like the whole star reigns, Barrage of Souls, that's their fault.
You
blame the
Blaming
penguins.
the
Blaming
penguins.
the penguins. It was them, bro.
Oh, you blaming the Pentons?
I'm blaming Pentons.
Yeah. So all y'all Penton lovers,
I'm blaming them.
If actually,
It was your fault.
Actually, for how Battlespirits, Saga is going right now, for all y'all Penton lovers, it's your
It was
fault.
our fault. Y'all made
We
the
could
Star having
we
Radiance,
could have went toward
and then-
a Burning Souls era or something. but y'all started this. Y'all Penton lovers.
One little Penta was like, ooh, what's this? Oh, well, I can blow up stuff. Word. And then someone got the secret out. Then Mandela heard about it. And then the Purple heard about it. I was like, word. So then Badu came through and set one was like, I'm going to destroy this. And then the Civil War happened in Red. Mandela's like, I'm going to take it a step further, dog. I'm going to make a barrage of souls. And then just blew up everything else. Y'all Penton started this. I'm blaming y'all. It's y'all fault. Y'all fixing y'all mistake. That's why the Red Queen got her butt.
And that's why the tiger ain't here.
That's what I'm saying. Goku Tiger
Yo.
ain't here. It's y'all. Y'all were killing me. So your Red Queen came through. So Mandela came through the realm of Radiance and was like, hey, what's good? I'm taking resources. And then Ira kept in and was like, no, you're not. And opened up his arms and was like, doo-doo. And deleted the entire cast, bro. It was crazy. And then they went over to water and then fought the rest of the Hardliners. But anyway, we can do more lore talk in a different podcast. But
Yeah.
I love that. So nonetheless, Turtle over here.
Portal.
His ability is just something else. So it's a lot of, it's combo oriented, and I always like to say, in every card game, the more pieces you require to pull off your combo, the slower it is, and typically it's not meta. So unless you're just searching out of your butt for these pieces, which is Yellow not doing right now, it's not the case. They generate a lot of resources though, but
If you were playing the Angel portion, you'd be searching out your butt.
he's really an angel advocate. Double A squad is what he's for.
Woo!
And the last thing I want to talk about Genbu, Twirtle right here, is his second ability, which is the Blessed. I think it's underwhelming. It's the fact that you have to have equal to your life total. Anything that costs equal to your life total basically says, hey, we get Blessed now. And if that should be the case, nonetheless, it just makes it hard. Because it's like...
Once you hit, you lose the effect.
Yeah, it's just hard, man. And it's just like, you literally get hit, you now got 6 costs or lower. Now it's like... So basically, Genbu himself will probably never get Blessed unless it's being talked about something else, which is probably where the otherworldly support comes in. Yep. So we're just like, hey, I give this guy Blessed. I think the main combo that might happen with Genbu would be this: him with Red Queen and then Joker. Joker can activate activate when summon effects. Yeah. So you then minus maybe 4 creatures by by 6. Minus them by 9, so that's 4 creatures off the board. That's minus by 9 typically. That's a nice threshold to kill.
And on top of that, we have a hidden Exhaust Nexus to deal with 9, 10, 11, 12 now.
Yeah. And then maybe Judgment Angel too.
You know what else is really tough to get off?
Yeah.
This podcast. So
yeah.
once we started going on this tangent,
We don't stop.
Yeah.
So it was great talking to you guys, and thank you for coming. Set 4 is officially been released, and support your LGS. Go to the store, buy some packs, and if they don't have it and you want to start a community there, work hard, try to gain some people in, and ask them if they can, gain some products. And if you need any help, boosting up your community, give us a message, shoot us a call, shoot us a message in our Discord,
We'll
Facebook,
work with you guys.
anything else. We're starting up a program pretty soon. Of course, it will be mostly catered to the East Coast, unfortunately, but regardless of where you are, Florida, California, let us know so we can see if we can help you. Okay, we have a decent amount of connection to people who are willing to work with us to help work with you guys as well. All right.
Yep.
And before we leave, let's give our predictions on who's gonna be topping and what's gonna come out of sleepers.
Yeah.
Because now with all the BSS tournaments now just being sold out and age
Jimbo, Tiger, Hydra. We went through this.
Yo, you know what's really crazy? I was waiting for this to happen too. I knew he was gonna get angry. But you know what's really crazy? We went through 4 timelines. What set are we on, guys? What set are we on?
The 4th timeline. And with the reveal of Isaac's favorite card.
Wait a minute, not my favorite card, bro. Look.
He'll be sounding this out.
Hey, bro, like Battlespirits like to say, like the cores decide your fate. Like Battlecore likes to say, like the battle decide your champion. Peace out, guys. Thanks for coming again.
We're done with this. I wish I could flip the table, but
What was
really.
that? Take 5, take 4?
Take 4, bro. That's what I'm saying. Take 4, bro. That's why I was like, it's funny he said that because we're on set 4. We're on the 4th timeline. Crazy. Like, I was gonna ask you earlier, what timeline did you remember that? He said, like I said.